My name is Jason Reynolds, and I'm 32 years old. Growing up, my parents told me that family came first and that no matter what, we always supported each other. My father passed away when I was 20, and since then I've been the only son in a household of two aging parents. My mother, Linda, is 65, and she's been battling arthritis and high blood pressure for years. My father's death left us with a mortgage and medical bills that piled up fast. After college, I took a job as a software engineer at a local tech startup, and I made it my mission to pay off our debts, handle the bills, and keep the family afloat so my mother could retire early without worrying about money. For over 10 years, I transferred money directly into my parents' checking account each month. I set up automatic payments for the mortgage, for the heat during winter, for utilities, and for groceries with our local supermarket's convenient auto-pay options. I did this because I believe that's what a son should do: protect his mother from financial stress, honor his father's memory by ensuring the household stayed stable. My mother depends on me emotionally and financially. She has always told me she'd do anything for me. I believed her until the night before Thanksgiving this year, when everything changed. That morning I woke up to the smell of coffee brewing and a stack of unpaid bills on the kitchen counter. My mother's handwriting scrawled across the top of each statement: "Jason, please review these and send payment." My heart sank. I checked the calendar. November 19th. Thanksgiving was 5 days away. I had transferred funds for this month's payments a week ago. Why were these bills listed as unpaid? I texted her, "Mom, I paid everything last week. Did you check the account?" No reply. I called her cell. Voicemail. That worried me, so I drove to my parents' house without hesitation. When I pulled into the driveway, the front door was slightly ajar. I rushed inside and found my mother seated at the kitchen table, arms folded, face flushed with anger. My father's recliner was empty, and I immediately felt a twist of dread. "Mom, what's going on?" I asked, setting my jacket down on a chair. She looked up at me, cool-eyed. "Don't bother coming for Thanksgiving," she said flatly. Her words hit me like a punch in the stomach. We always celebrated Thanksgiving together. My father used to carve the turkey while I helped in the kitchen, stuffing and gravy and laughter filling the rooms. Now, without him, it had fallen on me to continue the tradition. I wanted us to have one last good meal as a family before the holidays got lost in shopping and parties. I swallowed, trying to keep calm. "Mom, She raised her hand to stop me. "I mean it, Jason. Just don't come. We don't want you here." I fought the urge to shout. "Mom, what are you talking about?" Everything was fine until I sent the money. I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "Fine? There's a stack of bills on the counter, all marked past due. The mortgage payment last month didn't go through. Neither did the gas bill or the grocery auto-pay. What's happening?" She sighed and looked past me toward the window. "I told you not to come for Thanksgiving," she repeated. "You're smothering us, Jason. We're not children. We don't need you to pay for every damn thing." Her voice cracked like a whip. I felt something snap inside me. Years of sacrifices, of sleepless nights working extra shifts to send money home, of listening to her worries about affording insulin and heating oil, it all came crashing down with those 3 words: "Don't need you." I clenched my fists. "Mom, I've been providing for this household for over a decade. I did this so you wouldn't have to worry. Because Dad asked me to look after you. Why are you pushing me away?" She turned to face me, her eyes hard. "Because you act like you own this place. Like you can control every aspect of our lives. We can manage. Your father taught me to be independent, but you never let me be. I'm tired of it, and Thanksgiving is a holiday, not another business transaction." I stared at her, disbelief burning in my chest. "What do you mean, business transaction? I'm your son. I do this because I love you. Because it's the right thing to do." She scoffed. "Save your speeches. We talked about this. I told you I didn't want things the way they are." I felt my throat tighten. "What do you want, Mom? If you don't need my help, then tell me. But pulling the plug on everything is ridiculous. You'll lose the house if you don't pay the mortgage." Her face hardened further. "Then let the bank take it. We can move in with your brother." My heart dropped. My brother, Mark, lives 3 states away and has 2 kids of his own, a demanding job, and a spouse who wouldn't react kindly to adding 2 elderly parents to their household. I tried to coordinate visits, but they could barely manage monthly video calls. The thought of my mother uprooting herself that far away felt wrong. My father's grave is here, in our small hometown cemetery just down the street. I imagined her lying in hospital beds hundreds of miles away, alone. I couldn't let that happen. I took a deep breath to keep my voice steady. "Mom, we're not doing that. This is our home, Dad's legacy. You and I stay here. But stop pretending you don't need my help." Her expression softened for a moment, and I thought she might apologize. Instead, she looked away and whispered, "Then don't bother using my card." Those words froze me. "What card?" I asked, panic creeping in. She pointed to the front of the refrigerator where a small envelope was taped. I walked over, removed the sealed envelope, and opened it to find a credit card in my name with her handwriting on the sticky notes attached, "For household expenses. Do not use unless necessary." My blood ran cold. I realized then that she couldn't manually pay anything, that she was using my card for auto pay on everything. Groceries, gas, mortgage, utilities, all charged to my American Express account. I had trusted that the transfers into their checking account paid them, but they had actually been declining or intentionally left unsettled, leaving the bills to come out of my account. Every month, I covered it, believing I was sending money to Mom. Instead, she was siphoning it directly, and I never suspected because I assumed my transfers were applied first. I felt betrayed. Tears pricked my eyes, and I willed them back. "Mom, you've been making me think I was sending payments, but you were using my card?" She nodded, eyes damp but defiant. "I'm not going to do it anymore, so if you want to eat this Thanksgiving, don't bother coming." Her tone was icy, and I realized I had to decide quickly. I could beg her, apologize, and let her walk all over me, or I could stand up, set boundaries, and let her feel the consequences. In that moment, the love I had felt turned to a cold determination. I folded the credit card and slipped it into my pocket. I walked upstairs to my office, logged into my online banking, and navigated to the recurring payments section. First, I canceled the auto pay for the mortgage. Then I canceled the gas payment. Then the grocery bill that dropped $400 into the family's weekly budget. Each click felt final. I didn't hesitate. My mother's face flashed in my mind, her cold words echoing. I reminded myself that this house, these groceries, the heat in winter, it was all possible because of me. If she wanted to refuse my invitation, I would show her what it meant to live without my support. I saved my changes and shut down my laptop. When I walked back to the kitchen, Mom was seated at the table with a cup of herbal tea, staring out the window. She turned as I entered. "I took the card," I said quietly. "You can't use it anymore." She drew in a breath as if realizing the gravity of what she had done. I sat down across from her, the envelope with the canceled card between us. "You have a week until Thanksgiving. In that week, I'll give you back what you tried to take from me. I'll show you what it means to go without." She looked down at the table, lips quivering. That evening, I drove home to my apartment, feeling torn but resolute. Over the next few days, I justified my decision by remembering how she'd once called me her baby boy and now treated me like a cash machine. I needed her to understand that love isn't exploitation. I took a couple of days off work to prepare. I stocked up on food for myself, bought extra blankets, and made sure I was ready to face the cold evening that would descend on my parents' home. On Monday morning, my phone buzzed with an email alert. Mortgage payment failed. My bank account was charged a late fee of $50. A second alert. Gas bill unpaid. Service suspension pending. A third. Grocery bill declined. I didn't respond to any of it. Instead, I headed into work and tried to focus on code and meeting deadlines. My coworkers noticed I looked distracted and asked if everything was okay. I shook my head and muttered that I was dealing with family drama. Their sympathetic glances fueled my conviction. This was what parents do when they've been spoiled for too long. By Monday evening, my parents were in chaos. My mother called, voice trembling. "Jason, what did you do?" "The gas company called. They'll shut off service at midnight if we don't pay." I responded calmly, "Mom, you told me not to come for Thanksgiving. I canceled the auto pay. You need to deal with it." She gasped, "This is cruel. You can't do this." I said softly, "It's exactly what you did to me. You humiliated me. Now you get to feel what it's like not to have my help." She sobbed, but I hung up. My heart ached, but I believed I had chosen the right path. The next day, Tuesday, I got a series of frantic texts. First, from my father's old email address. "Jason, the mortgage company is calling every hour. They'll start foreclosure proceedings next week if we don't catch up." Then, from my brother's number. "Dude, what did you do? Mom and Dad need help. They're freaking out." And finally, a voicemail from my mother. "Please, I'm scared. We don't know what to do. Gas went off last night, it's freezing, and we've been living off canned soup. Please, fix this." I listened to her voice crack, and my resolve wavered for just a second. But then I remembered the cold smirk on her face, the way she'd treated me like a burden. Guilt churned in my stomach, but I reminded myself that tough love sometimes meant letting someone hit rock bottom. I texted my mother back. "I'll help if you apologize for what you said. Come to my apartment tonight, and we'll talk." I didn't explain, just sent the message and waited. That evening, around 7, she arrived at my door, bundled in a thick coat, teeth chattering. I opened the door and her eyes were red from crying. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean what I said, and I shouldn't have treated you like that." I nodded and stepped aside to let her in. The apartment was warm, modern, but cozy, small enough that she could hear the hum of the heater and feel comfortable. I offered her a cup of tea, and she accepted with a shaky nod. We sat on the couch as I listened to her apologize again, through sobs. She said, "I'm sorry for calling you worthless. I'm sorry I trapped you in this endless cycle of payments. I was angry, and I took it out on you." I placed a hand on her shoulder. "Mom, I love you. But love isn't permission to treat people like ATMs. I needed you to understand that I have boundaries, that I can't be taken for granted." She nodded between sobs. "I understand. Please, what do I need to do to fix this?" I sighed and stood. "First, let's fix the house. Tomorrow, I'll put the bills back on autopay, but from now on you'll have to manage the grocery bill and the gas payment from your own account. We'll lower the mortgage to interest-only payments for 6 months so you can get on your feet. And you'll apologize to Dad's grave for messing with his legacy." She looked startled. "I'll do it," she whispered. I nodded. "But this is the last time, Mom. I need you to start taking responsibility for your own life." That night, we stayed up talking. She told me about her fear of being alone after Dad died, how she felt lost, and how my constant involvement became a lifeline she clung to. She admitted she had snapped because she felt I was controlling her life, leaving her no dignity. I told her that, controlling or not, I felt used and unloved. We cried together, but by midnight we reached a fragile peace. The next morning, I reactivated the autopays for the mortgage and the gas, and I set up a small automatic transfer, 1/3 of my usual amount, to teach her to handle the rest. I helped her create a weekly grocery budget that she could refill with cash from her small pension and Social Security. We spent the afternoon in the living room surrounded by bills, spreadsheets, and coffee cups as I guided her through budgeting apps and banking websites. She struggled at first, but by sunset, she managed. We hugged when we finished. "Thank you, son," she said. "I swear I'll never let it get this bad again." That Thanksgiving, I prepared a small turkey and mashed potatoes, stuffing and gravy. We set the table for 3, my mother, my younger sister Claire who flew in from out of state, and me. We all sat down together just as the sun dipped below the horizon, the smell of roasted turkey filling the dining room. My mother looked at me with gratitude in her eyes. "I promise I'll never forget how you saved us," she said softly. Instead of being the controlling son, I had found a new role: mentor, guide, guardian without suffocating. I let my mother face the cold long enough to feel my absence, but I didn't let her fall into ruin. She never said those harsh words again. She never refused my invitations or tried to assert independence at my expense. She found a balance. She took pride in paying her own bills, and I took pride in seeing her regain confidence. My father's legacy lived on in a house that remained ours and in a family that, despite its flaws, stayed intact. If there's one lesson I learned, it's that love isn't about enabling someone to avoid responsibility. Sometimes you have to remove the safety net so they can learn to stand on their own. The cold I let my parents feel was a harsh teacher, but it reminded them who was truly providing and forced them to understand that a son's love isn't infinite if it's constantly abused. Human relationships thrive on respect and boundaries. I love my mother more than words, and this Thanksgiving taught me that compassion sometimes means tough love. When I let the cold remind them who was providing, I saved our family in a way they never expected, and in doing so, I saved myself, too.